My golden child sister always thought she was better than me because of her looks. So when she got older and they faded, she was so jealous of the life I built. She tried to ruin it by slandering me at work. So I turned the tables and made her publicly beg for forgiveness. Growing up, my sister Samantha was the pretty one out of us too, and I was always happy that this was the case because good looks were the only thing she had going for her. She was ugly on the inside. She always said she was better than me, flaunting how much prettier she was and how much more boys were interested in her. Our mom even told her she'd marry rich and be the more successful sister, making Samantha an egomaniac. It was clear I was second to Samantha in my parents' eyes. But I loved it because even back then, at just 15 years old, I knew that the way they treated me because I wasn't aesthetically blessed would only push me to work harder and hopefully make them proud. And I was right. I got an academic scholarship and moved out at 18. This was when the rift between me and Samantha formed. She claimed I thought I was too good for our family with my fancy scholarship and actually persuaded my parents into thinking the same. It hurt a lot going low contact with them, especially since I always wanted to prove myself to them, but they forced my hand. Fast forward 10 years. I was finally successful, dating a great guy, working at a high-end marketing firm, and that was when I made the biggest mistake of my life. I thought my family would approve of me. I made plans to see them again, and over text, they sounded excited. I was excited, too. I pulled into my parents' driveway in a car that I bought with my own money, with James next to me. I looked confident on the outside, but inside, I was nervous. I had not been home in a long time. I walked in and it felt like almost nothing had changed, but somehow everything had. Samantha was still there, 31 now, lying on the couch with a magazine in her hand like she didn't care. I had just walked in. She looked tired, still beautiful, but her looks were fading. Her hair was dry and overprocessed, and her makeup was heavy. My parents greeted James and me, and their smiles were tight. At lunch, it got weird. Samantha barely said a word at first, and when she finally did, it was to talk about a high school modeling competition she won over a decade ago. My parents cheered her on like they used to. By evening, the energy in the house was awful. Samantha kept throwing digs at me, flat out, telling me, "I'm still prettier than you, and that's all that matters." She brought up how I once tripped during a school recital, and the whole room laughed at me. My parents chuckled along awkwardly. James kept giving me reassuring touches under the table. My patience was thinning. Later that night, I found Samantha alone in the kitchen. She was standing by the window, staring at her reflection, almost tearing up. I took a deep breath and did something I had been thinking about since I decided to come home. I offered her a job. I told her that my firm had a new marketing division opening, and I had pulled some strings to create a spot that I thought she would be perfect for. It came with a place to live, classes to help her sharpen her skills, and real chances to build a career. I said it gently. I made sure she knew it was coming from a place of wanting her to have something better. At first, she just blinked at me. I thought maybe she was shocked. Maybe she would cry. Maybe she would hug me. But then her face changed. She looked furious. "You think you're better than me?" she yelled. I was taken aback. That's when she started. She said I was still the awkward, forgettable, ugly sister underneath it all. She said James would leave me the second someone prettier came along. Her voice shook from rage. Deep down, I wanted to, but for the first time in my life, I did not back down. I told her calmly that she had every opportunity handed to her on a silver platter, and she had wasted it. I said she spent her life relying on her looks. I said that if she was lonely and struggling now, it was not because the world was unfair. It was because she had never bothered to invest in anything that would last longer than her beauty. I could feel the air go dead around us. I could see her chest heaving, her hands clenched into fists. When I finished, I noticed my parents standing in the doorway. They had heard everything. My mom's face was white. My dad looked like someone had punched him in the gut. James was standing behind them. And when our eyes met, I saw nothing but pride in his face. Samantha stormed off, slamming her bedroom door so hard the whole house shook. I heard stuff crashing against the walls. I half expected my mom to go after her the way she always used to, but she just stood there frozen, torn in a way I had never seen before. My dad stared at me like he was seeing me clearly for the first time and maybe hating himself a little for how long it had taken. James and I packed our bags and left shortly after, but it was on the drive home that my phone started blowing up. It was my job. I called my boss back immediately. "What the hell is going on?" she demanded without preamble. "What do you mean?" I sat up instantly alert. "Have you seen the review? The one calling you out by name?" My stomach dropped. "What review?" She explained that someone had left a scathing one-star review on our company website, specifically naming me and claiming I had made cruel jokes about their autistic son during a client meeting. The review was getting traction on social media with people already calling for me to be fired. "I never did that," I said, my voice shaking. "That's completely fabricated. I figured as much," my boss said, sounding slightly relieved. "It didn't sound like you, but we need to address this ASAP. PR is already drafting a response." After hanging up, I immediately checked the review myself. It was vicious, detailed, and completely false. The client claimed to have met with me just 3 days ago when I had actually been in meetings with an entirely different client, surrounded by colleagues who could verify my behavior. And then I saw the username of the reviewer, Pretty in Pink 31. Samantha was 31 years old and Pretty in Pink had been her favorite movie since high school. That's her, I whispered, showing James the screen. She's trying to get me fired. James read the review, his expression darkening. Can you prove it, sir? Not definitively, but the timing is too convenient and that username. I trailed off, my mind racing. I need to call work back. I spent the next hour on conference calls with my boss, HR, and our legal team. They believed me about not making those comments, especially since I could prove I wasn't even in the meeting described, but the damage control was still necessary. The review had already been screenshot and shared across Twitter and Facebook. We were checking out of the hotel when my phone rang again. It was my mother. Have you seen what your sister did? She asked without greeting. So they knew. You mean the fake review trying to destroy my career? Yeah, I've seen it. She's gone too far this time, my mom said, surprising me. Your father and we had a long talk last night and again this morning when we saw what she posted. I waited, not sure where this was going. We've enabled her, my mom continued, her voice small. All these years, we thought we were helping her, but we weren't. And we weren't fair to you. It was the closest thing to an apology I was likely to get. I should have felt vindicated, but mostly I just felt tired. What are you going to do about the review? I asked. Your father is making her take it down right now and she's going to post a retraction admitting she made it up. That was something at least. Thanks, I said stiffly. Will you be okay? Your job. I'll handle it, I said. I always do. After hanging up, I checked the review site again. The post was already gone, but screenshots lived forever online. The damage was done. James and I drove back to Chicago in relative silence. I was mentally drafting emails, planning damage control, wondering if I should get a lawyer involved. My career was everything to me. It was what I built when I had nothing else. The thought of Samantha trying to take that away made me physically ill. We were about an hour outside the city when my phone pinged with a notification. Samantha had tagged me in a social media post. With trepidation, I opened it. It was a public apology. She admitted to writing a false review out of jealousy and anger, stated clearly that I had never made any inappropriate comments and took full responsibility for her actions. The post ended with, I am deeply sorry for the pain and professional damage I tried to cause. My sister deserves better from me. I stared at the screen, not quite believing what I was seeing. She actually apologized, I said to James, showing him the post. He glanced at it, then back at the road. Do you think she means it? Not a chance, I said immediately. My parents probably forced her to do it, but at least it was something I could show my boss and colleagues. It wouldn't undo all the damage, but it would help. When we got home, I forwarded the apology to my work team and tried to put the whole disastrous weekend behind me. I threw myself back into my projects, staying late at the office and bringing work home. James gave me space, but kept reminding me to eat and sleep. 3 days after we returned, I got a text from my dad. Samantha moved out, got an apartment in town, thought you should know. I wasn't sure how to respond, so I just sent back a simple thanks for letting me know. Life went back to normal or something close to it. The fake review incident blew over at work faster than I expected. My colleagues were supportive and my boss even joked that we should hire Samantha to write negative reviews of our competitors. I didn't find it funny. About 2 weeks after our visit, I was working late when my office phone rang. It was the front desk security. There's a Samantha here to see you, the guard said. Says she's your sister. My heart skipped a beat. I'll be right down. I found Samantha sitting in the lobby looking uncomfortable and out of place. She'd made an effort with her appearance. Hair freshly colored, makeup flawless, but she seemed smaller somehow, less confident than I'd ever seen her. What are you doing here? I asked, not bothering with pleasantries. She stood up, clutching her purse like a shield. I needed to see you in person to apologize properly. I crossed my arms. You drove 4 hours to say sorry and to ask if she took a deep breath. If that job offer is still available, I stared at her, certain I'd misheard. You're joking. I'm not. She looked down at her designer boots. Mom and Dad cut me off. Said it was time I stood on my own 2 feet. Dad called it tough love or whatever. So that explained the sudden move out of their house. And now you want my help after you tried to destroy my career. I know it's a lot to ask, she said quietly. I wouldn't blame you if you told me to go to hell. Part of me wanted to do exactly that, to tell her she'd made her bed and could lie in it. But another part, the part that had driven me to succeed, to prove myself, saw an opportunity. The position's been filled, I said, which was true. But there is an administrative assistant role open in the same department. Entry level. You'd have to work your way up. Prove yourself. Her face fell slightly at entry level. But she nodded. I can do that. And you'd have to relocate to Chicago. Find your own apartment, though the company does offer relocation assistance. I know. I've been looking at places online already. She hesitated. I don't expect us to be best friends or anything. I know I've been terrible to you for years. I just need a chance. I studied her face, looking for signs of manipulation or insincerity, but all I saw was desperation and maybe, just maybe, a hint of genuine remorse. I'll talk to HR on Monday, I finally said. But I'm not pulling any special strings. You'll interview like anyone else, and if you get the job, you'll be treated like any other employee. Relief washed over her face. Thank you. Seriously, don't thank me yet. You haven't seen how hard the work is. I checked my watch. I need to get back upstairs. Where are you staying tonight? I got a hotel room, she said. I wasn't sure how this would go. I nodded. Text me the details for your application and I'll pass them along on Monday. As she turned to leave, she paused. I'm sorry, about the review, about everything. I know, I said, not quite ready to say I forgave her. That would take time, if it ever came at all. After she left, I went back to my office and sat at my desk, trying to process what had just happened. Was I making a huge mistake? Probably, but maybe, just maybe, this was a chance for both of us to rewrite our story. I called James to tell him about Samantha's surprise visit. He was concerned, understandably. Are you sure about this? He asked after everything she's done. Not even a little bit, I admitted. But I'm going to give her the chance to prove me wrong.